And I see us.
I see us too. Hope you can hear us.
Well, yes, welcome everyone. I'm NESCardinality.
I'm LRock617, and I think we're both feeling very privileged to be able to show this off for you all today. We are going to be showcasing the one and only Adventures of Bayou Billy. I will be Billy. I will be playing the Japanese version known as Mad City, and Nessie will be playing the US version known as the Adventures of Bayou Billy. Care to tell us a little bit about your run before we get into it, Nessie?
My run is going to be a little bit longer. The enemies have more health. That includes the bosses, significantly more. And there are also some gator sections in stage 1 that LRock is able to just walk through, but I have to like stop and fight them. So basically LRock's going to be finished something like maybe 6 minutes before me, and we'll be just a little bit separated level by level throughout the run. Should be interesting. I can't wait to watch this back.
First of all, don't forget the driving. Very, very important. Driving in US is absurd. And second of all, essentially what he's saying is that mine's going to be easier because it's easy, and his is going to be easier because it's NESCardinality. So, let's, so for US version, the start time is on control character, correct?
Yeah.
Just do it on start, or...
I could just start mine early and walk on the screen, and then you can start whenever you want.
That'll work.
Yeah, okay.
Okie doke. Go ahead and hit the title screen, and then we'll go ahead and I'll wait till I see your Game B flash on your screen. Okay.
So I am ready, and when you give a countdown, I'll start moving.
Alrighty. It'll be once I can press some buttons. Alright. 3, 2, 1.
Good?
Yep.
Alright.
Alright, so this is Mad City, the version I'm playing. Start off, we're just killing some enemies with jump kicks. A lot of jump kicks in this game. Also despawn an enemy here by just walking right past this enemy and just moving right in. The third guy doesn't show up.
I'm jealous. I don't get to despawn anyone until a little bit later.
Yeah, there's a couple of them in stage 1. Walks right past this guy. For this segment, we've got our best weapon. Stick is by far the GOAT. A lot of people think whip is amazing in this game, and whip does have its uses. It has incredibly long range, but it it also doesn't do very good damage, whereas stick does incredible damage. But we're just gonna be sticking with that. Stick also does have very good range. What now?
I got a hawk on my screen, which does despawn one of these guys. Normally there are 3 of them, but now I only have to fight 2.
Nice. Truth in life, there's a hawk after the first swamp that discovered that actually can be despawned to save some time, but it's actually really, really hard to do. It's like a frame window. I think Junkyard Day was 5%. We'll work with that more one day. I'm getting really trouble with these enemies. Anytime they knock your stick away, you gotta just go back and get it. Unfortunate, but oh, 2 in a row. I will be getting that back, by the way. Enemies are struggling like crazy today.
These gators take 8 bops to the head with a club in my version.
Yeah, I just don't have to even deal with them.
This is one of the most interesting parts of my run, where we have to collect all the guns from behind. Just perfect. Okay, we got them all.
And guns, particularly good in Mad City, but it can be tricky to utilize because between limited ammo and the weird spacing that you have to do with it, it has limited uses, but it does have uses. So over here, unlike what Nessie's going to be doing, I'm just gliding my way across the swamp. Jumping is much faster than walking through water. Walking through water is incredibly slow. Jump kicking our way all the way down. And that'll close out stage 1. Alright, so my stage coming up is a auto-scroller with just some FPS aspects, so Nessie's going to be talking about this here. He's going to have plenty more to talk about.
Alright, I'm actually pretty close. I just beat the last enemy I have to beat, and now I'm walking past my section of gators, which thankfully this section we don't have to fight them. We walk by about 6 of them, and that is stage 1.
Nice. Here. See, what can we talk about with stage 2? So this stage is notorious for actually allowing the player to utilize the zapper if they wish. We choose not to. I just prefer to be able to remain consistent with one controller. I'll give all the props in the world to players who do want to use it, but I prefer to stick with my controller.
Yeah, I don't know if either way is actually faster, because the bosses do have iframes. You can't just rapid fire as fast as you want, but I think they're both pretty much the same, so I like to just stick to controller.
That, and you also lose time with the transition. Like it says switches to like, when it switches to stage 2, if you're on game mode B of Mad City, then it says like you have to go over to the zap, and that costs time. So generally faster just. So for this stage, there's not a whole lot to talk about. There's a couple of power-ups we can obtain, a couple of which I've gotten. I also got an extra ammo pickup I did not want. I had to kill an enemy, and on top of it, hourglass we've got here is going to allow me to use infinite ammo for the time being.
Yeah, the one other thing to mention is that we're going to want to burn off all our ammo at the end of the final boss, because it actually takes time to count up all your bonus points bullet by bullet.
Correct.
They go pretty quickly, but we generally do want to just get rid of that, so ammo comes really easily in this stage, so I'm going to be burning off a ton as we approach the final boss.
Yeah, similarly to Ninpo and Ninja Gaiden, it counts down frames at the end of the stage, so making sure you lose all your ammo, or as close as you can get without dying is essential. But the downside is if you run out of ammo, then you actually take a death. Here we have our RNG copter. If this guy stays on screen, we're going to have a great fight. If he doesn't, then we're going to have a bad fight.
Yeah, pretty much.
And he stayed on screen the whole time, so I had a really good fight. Good stuff. 6 bullets in the stage, not too bad. Skip on to stage 3. So this stage is actually very, very short for me, whereas it's not going to be for Nessie. I have to deal with 2 enemies and a boss, and then we're just going to call it a wrap. These first 2 guys, I'm just going to club them and hope they don't run past me. Pretty bad luck if that happens. For a boss, I actually have a little bit of a quick kill I'm going to go for here.
There we go, my copter's finally staying on screen. Alright.
Alright, really good boss kill there. I missed 1 hit, but essentially the only thing you don't want happening in that fight is if you throw that jump kick and he kicks you as an anti-air, then you have to go back and get your stick, and you have to try to reset it up, and you're probably not going to get it, so that worked out pretty well. For stage 4, for my driving stage, really not going to be a whole lot to talk about here, so I think I'm going to leave it over to Nessie, because stage 3 is way more interesting than mine was.
Alright, so we start out carrying the club into the level, which is really useful at the beginning. There are going to be 2 gators which we have to fight in here. We can't just walk past them. Oh, gotta pick up the stick. Sometimes the gators like to glue themselves to the left wall, and you have to sort of shimmy to find a way out. I'm trying not to go too far to the right because I don't want to fight both of them at the same time. You unfortunately cannot strike both of them at the same time. And if they both attack at the same time, you won't be able to stop one of them from hitting you. So we just take them down one at a time. Avoid the hawk. And the big thing about the boss is setting up the quick kill, which I was just able to catch it on stream. LRock did it pretty nicely. Drop kicking our way into the corner. We have to make sure that we do it in a very specific way so that we don't get grabbed. If we do, I'm probably just going to have to take a safety kill. I don't know for sure if the setup is 100% reliable, but it's been working for me every time today, so I'm optimistic.
It's a really good setup when it lands. The timing of landing your first kick is honestly, to me, the hardest part. But I have a visual cue that I start the fight with. It works for me about 80% of the time, so I always. And I imagine it's not that different in the US.
Yeah, I always used an audio cue in the past, and today I picked up on a visual as well, which is just nice to have a redundancy.
Oh yeah, for sure. But yeah, if our boy there gets loose, he's a real problem because he can grab you, he can kick you. He basically has range and priority over anything you want to do, unless you can get the drop. So it's
now,
rough.
fortunately, in terms of safety strats, I do know how to take him out without taking any damage. It's just obviously a lot slower.
Yeah. Always is. Safety's not fast, turns out. Right on to driving also. Nessie's still on stage 3, so he's got way more interesting stuff to talk about.
Here's the boss.
Best of luck.
I got the setup. Now, do I have enough life left? Let's find out. I think I do. This is looking really good. One more hit? Yeah! Right on. He was like right on top of me. After that hit, if he still had another health bar, he would have grabbed me.
Good stuff. Nessie's going to move on to his driving stage. For my driving stage, there's really not a lot to talk about for JP. It's pretty much easy Sunday morning driving compared to what he's going to have to do. I pretty much just have to stay in line and avoid enemies. If cars back into you, that's an instant death, so you don't want that to happen. Whereas missiles getting dropped on you is only damage. Isn't that kind of weird?
I don't know how it is in Mad City, but in this version, the missiles that drop down pretty much have to drop dead on you. If they're like right beside you and half touching you, it actually won't hurt you. It's a really small hitbox.
Yeah, it's a lot smaller than you would think it would for a explosion. So yeah, the bigger danger we have to watch out for is just enemy cars. The biggest one being Godfather Gordon. If he spawns on screen, he, unlike the other cars, will not die in one shot. He'll just stay on screen. It's better to leave him on screen just so you don't have to try to wrangle him up again. Sometimes he doesn't spawn at all. Like in my driving stage 2, he hasn't spawned at all, and I'm very, very happy about that. That's very, very good luck. Good piece of luck.
I guess the other thing worth mentioning is you have shots for the cars in front of you and grenades for the stuff in the air, but you cannot, if you throw a grenade, you can't shoot things on the road at the same time. So for that reason, I sometimes let a lot of airplanes just fly by.
Yeah, if you just dodge their missiles, it's basically the same as killing them. It doesn't in time. Again, the stage is a total auto-scroller, so as long as you don't pick up any cans to increase your timer, you're not gonna have any issues. Okay, so on to stage 6, which for Mad City is easily the most interesting stage in the run. So we're gonna start here on Bourbon Street. I'm gonna walk up to this window pane. I'm gonna do this up and down glide. See that enemy there on the right side? I didn't get it, unfortunately. So what I'm trying to do is make sure these enemies don't actually appear on the screen, but I think I'm going a little bit too far. Yeah, you start a little bit earlier than that. If they spawn from the left, that's especially bad. Got another chance at one. So for this segment, there's going to be one that appears on the right. Try and make sure he doesn't show up. The guy on the left with the ball and chain, I can't do anything about him. He's always going to pop in. But he dies when... We've got a couple more here that we're not... Gonna get this chicken health. That health is total safety. I've had a number of deaths on this stage in events like this before, so I want to try to avoid that if I can.
Oh, I always get that health.
Yeah, sure. That was weird. Rolly. These guys that jump down from the balcony, and they can move in and out like crazy and act up. The bar, we're gonna go for another despawn here real quick.
I'm only now starting the second driving stage, by the way.
Nice. Plenty of time to talk then. We got a few more guys showing up here. Again, these guys, there's actually a despawn strat that I discovered by mistake on one of the guys from the balcony. Don't quite know how it works. Haven't investigated too much. Hope to be able to work on that one day. Got one more despawn here I'm going to go for. Man, I'm just not nailing these today. Thankfully they die quick. I did get one out of there, though. So for these guys actually have a wider range of powers that they can utilize. That one died very, very quickly. I'm going to talk about that much. Man, these guys are bumping onto the screen super fast. I don't know if this is just a bad seed or if I'm just messing with it. Yeah, these guys are green. So from what you saw in earlier segments, you did see some of them be able to just leave the screen like that, and that's what you're supposed to be able to get, but had some rough patches there. You guys are just beat them to death with the stick. This is the last wave of enemies too, so not too much more to worry about. What? Heck. One more thing to talk about before we reach our end game. Ideally, going into the last boss room, I want to make sure I lose body armor. I don't know if that's going to happen. We're just going to hope that it does. But for here, I'm going to move on to what is, in my opinion, the hardest stage in the game. Stage 7 is pretty ridiculous. It's another shooting auto-scroller, similar to what we saw in Stage 2. This one's quite a bit harder than what we experienced in Stage 2 for a couple of reasons. One, the enemies here are a lot faster, and they tend to troll a lot. They will actually just despawn from the screen and essentially just do nothing. I was going to pick up the ammo for safety. I take one ammo upgrade here. And the second reason is because in this stage, you have no healing items. So any damage you take, you basically have to mitigate it as much as possible after you've taken it by just killing enemies. That can cost you. Got a couple of these stop sections where I got to take clowns. These guys just like hide behind buildings and stuff. It's not a fan. Thing to keep in mind, I don't know if this applies to you, that's Bayou Billy, but any shots that you miss on these stages decreases your health, decreases your ammo, whereas any shot that you land doesn't. If I have 130 bullets and I shoot an enemy and it hits, then I still have 130 bullets. Like, you don't lose ammo for protecting.
Yeah, that's the same.
Figured.
So we just finished our driving stage. We're into stage 6. And it's time for the despawn party. A lot of common characteristics between the two versions here. We're going to be starting with 3 groups of enemies we're going to try and despawn, and we just missed 1 here. So it's 4 jump kicks to take out this guy. On to number 2. Everything looks good here. And, oh, that guy's actually far enough on screen, so we're going to have to go to the other side and jump kick him too. And finally, number 3. See what kind of luck we get here. Looking good. Yes, for that one, we saw him partially, but we just barely despawned him. Never any trouble with these chain ballers. Against this one, there is a guy on the right we're going to try to despawn. We can already see his shadow, but we got him. LRock just coming up towards the final boss of stage 7 now.
Correct. And I've got a good amount of ammo. I've got 60 bullets with 5 health. I like to try to have a 4 health threshold for these guys, and as mentioned, you can't get health in this stage, so however much health you have coming into here is very important. A little bit of a troll fight, but it's not too hard once you take down the big guy. Small guys, a little bit more challenging, but you can deflect the shot, whereas the big guy, you can find my ammo down. Here's stage 7.
Really careful setups to get the whips out of these guys' hands and to manage everything properly. It's especially important when 3 of them spawn at once. We'll get to that later, but for now, more despawns! Every single time I get to this screen, by the way, this guy always gets on the screen. I don't know what it is about him, but he always makes it. One more despawn, and then we get into the whip extravaganza.
Lag extravaganza, you mean? Whips cause so much lag in this game. So, this stage also very important. It's very short for the Japanese version. Fortunately, I didn't lose body armor. I don't think I'm going to. But I've got a nice quick kill I'm going to set up here with this dog walker. That's weird. I didn't get the armor off. That's very strange. Normally when you jump kick first, you're supposed to knock the armor off. I've never seen it happen before. But anyway, so what's supposed to happen there is when you get the first jump kick on the dog trainer, it knocks her armor off. She jumps over you and you shoot her and she's dead. And you need to knock the armor off or else she gets to deflect it. But in that case, it happened. I don't know what happened there, but she's dead. So put on to our final room with Godfather Gordon. This fight can be a bit of a troll if I don't set it up properly, and I thought I had proper. So with Gordon's not, I shouldn't call him challenging, but he can drain a lot of time. You only need to get 9 hits on him, but that can be kind of hard sometimes because he moves up and down vertically like this, whereas I thought I had it set up properly. More hit to do it. Oh, cool, he knocked my armor away, great. Okay, so without armor, this allows me to talk about this. We've got Rocky and Rocco here. The blue one, I forget which is which, dies in 4 hits if you don't have armor. That's why I wanted to lose it. So that's pretty great. Take care of him first, and then the red one has the traditional 10 health. Just gotta jump kick him in the face. That'll finish this off. We're gonna go and rescue our beloved. That's gonna be
nice.
1643. Yeah, I had some rough stages, but that final boss fight was really good once Gordon knocked my armor off, so not going to be too unhappy about that. Oops. And I don't know how sound's going to work here, but for those that wish to enjoy watching Nessie just completely destroy this game to the ending music, because this ending theme is one of my favorites. It's so good.
Yeah, it's beautiful. It's definitely worth hearing. I'm on to stage 7 now.
Nice. I, however, will not be translating this for anybody because I can't read Japanese.
So we gotta watch out for the bikers here. Like the bosses, the bikers have the same number of iframes after you hit them, and you have to shoot them 3 times. So I time my shots really carefully and watch when they're coming on the screen. There is a lot of RNG involved in terms of when they can shoot you. Sometimes they'll shoot you right when they get on the screen. Sometimes they'll scroll 3 times without shooting once. So I just try and take them out as quickly as possible, and that's top priority. And then beyond that, it is actually possible to get health in this level in my version, but the health drops are pretty rare. I generally only find 1 per level, and it could happen like right at the beginning. So for the most part, we just want to really conserve our health if we get hit 3 times or more, we got to be super careful against the boss. Otherwise, I'm not really worried at all. There's a health drop, but we were at full.
I have been told that on Mad City there is a health drop that you can obtain in the last stage. There's a motorcycle that appears right before the final bosses, but it only cycles 1 time, as in like it goes from right to left and then on. But
oh, that's neat. In my version, he also spawns, but he only gives an hourglass.
Well, what I was gonna say was that if you I've only managed to defeat that motorcycle 1 time, and it didn't drop health. So if it does drop health, it's random. So I don't
okay.
know. It could absolutely be the case. You mentioned RNG. You may be absolutely right. But the only time I've ever managed to do it, because killing a motorcycle from one side to the next is not easy. If it doesn't do a return visit or a run back, you're not gonna be able to kill it. So,
I'll go for him in my version, but as I mentioned, it's he will only give an hourglass. But everything else LRock said is identical. He's only going to pass the screen once. We got to time our shots really carefully, and he's coming up right now, and we got him. So there's the hourglass.
and now we know. So, an item we didn't get to talk about during either of our runs, the vest, especially at this point in the level, is extremely important. The vest gives us temporary invincibility, and not taking shots with this many enemies on screen is huge. You just get to save so much wasted breath not having to deal with that. Yes, you also having like a pretty good amount of ammo going to the boss here, right around bullets or so.
We're going to take out the guy that can just auto-shoot you, and then, because I came in with full health, I'm not worried about the knives right now, and we can shoot the knives away, so it's best to take out the guy that can actually hit us without us being able to block first. And that is stage 7.
Oh, he did get there with full health. Have I mentioned that Nessie is so much better at this game than I am? I cannot get to that boss with full health. That stage is disgusting. I've never done it, probably not going to. Nice boss fight, though. This stage uses the controller.
Nice! It's really hard to get the first gun, but I got it there, and we just take out our opponents here one by one. We need a little bit of range, because if we try to shoot them too up close, we won't hit. I do have my whip, so we're looking...
The strat that I go for the gun in stage 8 requires moving to the right, hitting him in the corner as soon as he spawns, and trying to get it before you can. It is really tough, but I'm optimization. Basically. There, and that's a little bit different. You went upside and then down.
Oh man. There we go. There we go. The guy with the vest kept acting as a shield for the other one. So this fight is a little bit different in my version. I nailed the kill right there. We have to whip twice to knock off the armor, and then just a little bit of a delay to make sure that our bullet hits right.
Very nice. Yeah, so you got the armor, and well, yeah, actually that's a faster kill because she stays in place. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
So,
Man,
yeah.
that on my version.
So based on what LRock was saying, this fight is going to be very different for me. First of all, in my version, Gordo has 14 hits, and I am still going to be losing both my armor and my whip, but we got to wait for that to happen. And now this is the hardest part of the game for me. So let's set up our beautiful setup here, and hopefully it works. We got grabbed. I'm not sure if I'm still going to make it, but we'll see.
The twins. One double dragon in the neck.
He can't get me in the corner here, so that's good. But the problem is they're now together, so I might not get them here. I'm just going to do what's best, and hopefully we start hitting the blue one first.
The grab is so filthy. Like, if they full Nelson you, you're just there for basically as long as you want. I believe
We'll give it another shot here.
Really, really mash it.
There we go. Much better setup. We got the blue one targeted. This is how it's supposed to go, basically. Nice and smooth this time. I've got 3, he's got 3. Let's see what happens. We'll pin ourselves in the corner, keep hitting him, and time.
Very nice, GG. What was your final time? They didn't have your, I don't think they had your timer on screen.
Oh, I forgot to even start running it. That's my fault.
Nice.
I was just watching your time. I'm sorry about that, guys.
I mean, well, I would imagine that was probably like a 21 or a 22. Sounds about right. I got a 16, which is for all the problems I put up with. But now you all get to read the ending in a language that most of you can read. So GG for that, and thank you all so much for the GGs. This was an honor. This really was, and I'm very, very glad RGL set this up where the great Nessie and I could both run this game. This games. I guess we'll
It was
call
a great idea.
plural. I loved it.
Yeah,
really was.
and this run, this showcase was actually the reason I started really looking closely at Mad City. It's fascinating to me how different they are in some cases, like the driving stages look and feel totally different.
Stage 3 in general, so much
Yep.
shorter than what you have to do. You have 2 segments in Stage 3 on Mad City. That's all. You have 2 guys and a boss. You're out. Ooh. But yes, thank you all so much again for the kind words, and thank you to Nessie for agreeing to do this. This was great. Really enjoyed this, and I hope you all did as well.
Thank you, LRock. And also on that note, LRock just finished Double Dragon in style. I will be playing Target Renegade later tonight, which is kind of like very similar to Double Dragon, but a little bit different and weird. You'll see. Anyway, hope you enjoyed that. Take care, everyone.
Yep, and we've got the great Shanaberry Blast up next with some Hammer and Harry. Y'all give her some love, and I'll be joining you in chat. See you soon.